Spring is here and it is in full flow. This year, more than most years in the past, I am hearing from a lot of people around the country that they are experiencing very high allergy symptoms. There's a lot of pollen in the air this year, and allergies seem to be a little bit worse than normal. So I wanted to take just a minute to talk to you about some of the things that you can do to mitigate some of the symptoms that go along with what's happening with your allergy. There are allergy apps, pollen counts. So make sure that you're staying on top of what your local pollen count is, just so that you can be aware and prepared before you leave the house. If the pollen counts are high, we really do want to make sure that we are keeping doors and windows. And I know how lovely it is to be able to throw everything open. We want to air out the house after that long, stuffy winter and just get that fresh air into the space. But if there's a lot of pollen, that's really not going to be a great choice for you. And also keeping in mind that applies to your car too. And I know for a lot of people, we drive around with air conditioning all the time. However, if it's a really nice day and maybe it's not too hot, not too humid, you may have your windows open. But if it's a high pollen day, that's not going to be a great choice. So making sure that we are blocking the pollen from getting into our car or our home on high pollen days is definitely a good choice. We also want to make sure that we're using HEPA filters in the house. If you have not already changed your filters for the spring, let this be your reminder to do that. Those filters should be changed at least every 6 months, more if there is a lot of exposure, and certainly a high pollen season is going to count as a lot. The filter is going to get clogged a little bit faster. To make sure that you're replacing the filter and that you're using a HEPA rated filter. It costs just a tiny bit more, but it's so much worth it for how it's going to support you and your allergies. If you have air conditioning, I really do want to encourage you to use it on high pollen days. And again, I know we want to throw open the windows. We want to enjoy that fresh air. But if your allergies are going to cause you to have breathing issues, stuffy nose, watery eyes, clogged ears, all of that, then it's probably better to use the air conditioning. Now, one thing that tends to be a bit of a either you love it or you hate it idea, but that I think is really important is to make sure you're taking off your shoes. I'm a huge fan of having a drop spot for all shoes inside the front door because we don't want to track whatever we were walking on outside all over the house. And at this time of year, it probably includes pollen. If you don't have a good drop spot, consider putting a basket in place so you can take off your shoes and put them in the basket. If you're someone who's like, I wear shoes in the house, I want to have something on my feet, then I would encourage you to consider having a pair of slippers or a slip-on shoe that could be good for your house shoes, but the shoes that go outside should not be walking all over your house and tracking pollen and everything else that we've got from outside. If you're a high allergy person and it's a high allergy day, you may need to consider vacuuming on a daily basis and also doing wet dusting. We don't want to dry dust. We don't want to use a feather duster. That's just going to push everything around, push it up in the air, and then it settles back down again. So a wet dust and vacuuming to make sure that we're getting rid of any dust or pollen that could be contributing to your allergy symptoms. You also want to make sure if you have to work outside and you're outside in your garden, maybe you're washing the car or you're just outside playing with your kids. If it's a high allergy day, when you come in, change out of those clothes. Don't continue to wear them and continue to expose yourself to that. And if you haven't worn it very long and you feel like you're going to wear it again, maybe just put it in a baggie so that you could wear it the next day, or consider just putting it in the laundry and having fresh clothes for afterward. One of the other things that can be really helpful for a lot of people who suffer significant from allergies is to make sure that you shower and wash your hair before going to bed. This is because we want to make sure that we're removing the pollen. You know, it can get into our hair, it can get on our skin, we're not aware of it. And then we're resting, we're sleeping, breathing a little bit more deeply and breathing all of that in, which is going to potentially contribute to continued allergens. So allergy response. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to that. We also want to make sure that we're changing our pillowcase a lot allergy season. And that's because whatever's on that pillow, you know, our face is on it, we're breathing it in. And so if you are exposed to a lot of pollens, for example, I live in Texas during pollen season, my black car looks yellow. My deck looks yellow. My red chairs have a yellow filth on them. And so we just want to make sure that we're changing that pillowcase a little more often so we're not breathing that. Wearing sunglasses, if you don't happen to wear glasses, is a good idea. It can help protect your eyes just a little bit from the pollen. And then the last thing that's so important is we really want to make sure that we are drinking more liquids. You want to stay very hydrated. And the reason for that is because that's going to help thin out some of the mucus. If we're dehydrated, our mucus tends to be a little bit thicker. And if we thin out the mucus, that is hopefully going to help with some of the drainage, some of the stuffiness that you may be experiencing. So those are a few lifestyle things that you can do. I also want to encourage you to remember that if your symptoms are very extreme, you do want to consult a medical professional. If you need medication, please don't refuse it. I encourage obviously starting with holistically healthy strategy and supportive lifestyle modifications. But if you need medical support for your allergies, please do consider doing that as well. Back to stop that, back up. Sorry, Janine. The most important thing to remember when it comes to allergies is what your allergy season is. Where I live in Texas, it is possible to allergenic exposure everywhere from late January, early February, all the way until about mid-November. So there's only a few weeks where we don't tend to have a lot of allergens. And so know when your allergy season is. Make sure that you are doing the lifestyle things, the holistic supportive things that are good for you so that you can take care of yourself and your allergies. If you find that you need medication, I do want to encourage you to work with a professional to make sure that you're not over medicating yourself, but also to make sure that you are getting the relief that you need. So sometimes we do have to find that holistically health supportive supplementation and medication. So just make sure you're doing what works for you. And hopefully you will make it through this allergy season without too much interference so that you can then enjoy great outdoors and a beautiful spring. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye. Okay.